The Titan 18 is MSI's most powerful gaming laptop, but it's also the most expensive gaming laptop I've ever reviewed. So let's find out what it can do, if it's worth it, and who this crazy machine is for in this review. The Titan has a magnesium aluminum alloy chassis with MSI's core black finish. There's only minor flex to the keyboard and lid. Overall build quality feels good. The Titan is built like a tank. The front of the lid sticks out a little, making one finger opening very easy. The screen goes back fairly far, and the hinges feel smooth and sturdy, even when ripping the lid open hard and fast. The Titan is quite large. It's bigger than Asus's Scar 18 in all dimensions, and not exactly portable. The laptop alone is heavier than last year's version at 3.6 kilos or 8 pounds, increasing to 4.8 kilos or 10.5 pounds with the new 400-watt charger included. This is the highest wattage charger I've ever had with a gaming laptop, yet it's still smaller and lighter compared to the 330-watt charger used by last year's Titan GT77. My configuration has Intel's Core i9-14900HX CPU, Nvidia's RTX 4090 graphics, 128 gigs of RAM, and an 18-inch mini LED screen, so top-end specs all over. The mechanical keyboard uses Cherry MX ultra-low profile switches, but only for the keys highlighted in green. The rest in red are not mechanical. I like the tactile feel, but I just never got used to the positioning. It felt like it was slightly in the wrong spot, as I would often press the wrong keys. Normally when there's a numpad, the touchpad is centered to the letter keys, so my right hand goes over the touchpad when typing, but it wasn't a problem as the palm rejection seems fine. Of course, the mech keys sound loud too. They removed the fingerprint scanner this year, and the small right shift might annoy some, but they fixed the layout of the numpad this year. It's got customizable per key RGB backlighting, and all keys and secondary functions get lit up. It's got 4 levels of brightness, which can be adjusted with a F8 shortcut. But the brightness doesn't change while holding the function key like other laptops, so you have to let go of the function key to see the change. RGB lighting effects can be adjusted through the included SteelSeries software, and this is also used to customize the logo on the lid and the touchpad. The seamless haptic touchpad looks cool, but it's one of the worst we've ever used. It has RGB lighting, and without that, you can't see or feel the borders of the touchpad, so it can be a bit awkward to use with the lighting off. My main problem was just clicking and holding to drag stuff around in Windows. It just randomly unclicks while I'm dragging, despite still holding down. I also didn't like how the haptic clicks feel compared to a normal touchpad. The power button is part of the keyboard, but an accidental press doesn't do anything. You have to hold it down for a while before Windows asks if you want to shut down. The left side has a Kensington lock at the back, 2 USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type A ports, and an SD card slot, while the right has a 3.5mm audio combo jack, another USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type A port, and 2 Type-C Thunderbolt 4 ports. The back has the power input on the left, HDMI 2.1 output in the middle, and 2.5 gigabit Ethernet on the right. Unfortunately, there aren't any rear port icons, making it harder to see where you're plugging cables in without turning the laptop around. I like that we've got some of the bigger ports that use bulkier cables on the back now, because last year's Titan GT77 had all the ports on the sides only. The Type-C port closest to the back can be used to charge the laptop with up to 140 watts. But it does that with 20 volts and 7 amps, which I don't think is part of the PD 3.1 standard. And both Type-C ports have DisplayPort support for connecting monitors. And both of those, as well as HDMI, always connect directly to the Nvidia graphics, whether Optimus is on or off. We also confirmed the HDMI port could run our LG B9 TV at 4K 120Hz 12-bit with G-Sync. Getting inside requires removing 12 Phillips head screws, all the same length. It's not too hard to open, but it definitely needed pry tools. I'll leave a link to these ones I use below. Inside, we've got the battery down the front, 4 DDR5 memory slots above near the middle, 3 M.2 storage slots, with 2 populated in my case, and the Wi-Fi 7 card on the right. One of the M.2 PCIe slots supports faster Gen 5 storage, a rare feature in gaming laptops. But unlike the past, there's no indication on the motherboard which one is Gen 5, and I couldn't find it in MSI's documentation either. But all 3 slots can fit double-sided SSDs no problem. The speeds from the two 2TB PCIe Gen 4 SSDs in RAID 0 were excellent. But in this default configuration, if just one of the drives fails, then all data is lost. The SD card slot was okay, but not amazing, as my V90 card is capable of 3 times these sequential speeds. The card sticks out a little and does not click in for security. Wi-Fi speed looks great, but I recently upgraded to a Wi-Fi 7 router, so I've had to dump all my previous results. But so far, it's in line with the only other Wi-Fi 7 equipped laptop I've tested. Most gaming laptops have 2 memory slots, but the Titan is one of the rare few that allows you to max it out with 4 sticks of memory. Ours has 4 32GB DDR5 5600 sticks installed, but due to limitations with Intel's memory controller, by default at stock it runs at just DDR5 3600, so there's a compromise of going for more capacity. Now this laptop is fully unlocked, so I tried to increase the memory speed to DDR5 4800 in the BIOS, but I couldn't get it to boot. From my understanding, it's already configured to run at DDR5 4000, but 3600 is as good as I can get. Perhaps I just need better memory, because this page from Intel's website says that DDR5 4000 should be possible with 14th gen HX processors. I also tried 2 sticks at DDR5 5600, but that didn't boot either. The Titan supports up to 4 48GB sticks for 192 gigs of total memory capacity if you really need it. It gets a good upgradability score due to the 2 extra memory slots and 3rd M.2 slot, the same as last year's Titan. The older 2022 Titan was better though, because that one had 4 M.2 slots. Only the Clevo from a few years back was further ahead, as that also has an upgradable CPU and GPU. There are 2 front-facing speakers on either side of the keyboard, and 2 more underneath with 2 subwoofers towards the front corners. They don't sound very good. They get loud, but they're not clear and there's hardly any bass. This is kind of embarrassing considering Asus's far smaller Zephyrus G14 sounds amazing in comparison. The Latencymon results weren't great, but still better compared to a lot of laptops we tested last year. The Titan 18 is powered by a 4-cell 99.9 Wh battery, the biggest allowed in a laptop. Display power saver is enabled by default, which automatically lowers the screen's refresh rate to 60Hz when you unplug the charger to save power. This is why the screen flashes black, and it goes back to 120Hz when you plug back in. Battery life was pretty bad, not even lasting for 4 hours in my YouTube video playback test. That's just the way it goes with these powerful desktop replacement style machines though. Let's check out thermals next. The Titan has a vapor chamber cooler with 2 fans this year, so less compared to last year's 4-fan design. And that's why last year's version couldn't fit ports on the back. The bottom panel of this year's design has way more holes for air ventilation, and air gets exhausted out of the left and right sides, and from both sides out the back. The MSI Center software allows us to change between different performance modes, which from lowest to highest are silent, balanced, and extreme performance. Extreme mode applies the following overclock to the GPU by default, so we've left that on for all our testing, but you can customize it here too. The fan speed tab lets you enable cooler boost mode, which sets the fan to full speed, or you can customize the fan curve in advanced. You can also max the fan out at any time with the function and up arrow key shortcut. The internal temps were fine when just sitting there idle. The rest of the results are from combined CPU and GPU stress tests, which aim to represent a worst case full load scenario. The internal temps are what I would consider to be cool compared to others in this heavy workload, regardless of the performance mode in use. Seriously, with this sort of power, 90 to 100 degrees Celsius is normally how this test goes. Closing the lid doesn't change the temperature, so no problem if you want to dock the laptop. Interestingly, the cooling pad I test with, linked below, was both cooler and quieter compared to setting the laptop's fans to full speed. There's not much difference in clock speeds with or without the cooling pad. Fans maxed out or lid closed and docked, because thermals were not a limit in this workload. The Titan 18 is able to run the RTX 4090 graphics right up to Nvidia's 175 watt limit no problem, while the CPU maxes out at 90 watts. This is an excellent result compared to most other laptops. However, the CPU wasn't quite reaching the advertised 95 watt limit. It's only a 5 watt difference. Close enough, I suppose. In any case, it's still 15 watts of extra CPU power compared to last year's Titan GT77 without overheating. So it seems to be doing just fine with 2 fans instead of 4, and the extra power from the new 400 watt charger. The CPU can use much more power if the GPU is idle, like in Cinebench. It's not actually that much better compared to last year's Titan GT77, because Intel's i9-14900HX in the Titan 18 only has a slight clock speed boost compared to the last gen i9-13980HX. Only AMD's 16-core chips offer a noticeable multi-core boost, but at the expense of worse single-core performance. CPU performance lowers if we unplug the charger and instead run off of battery power, but the Titan 18 is still doing well here compared to most other laptops. Single-core performance doesn't drop too much, and it's still better than last year's Titan, but beaten by ASUS's Scar range. Most laptops I test are in the low 30 degrees Celsius range on the keyboard at idle, and the Titan 18 was a little under this. It's warmer with the stress test running, but only in the middle and not hot. Balanced mode was similar, warm in the middle but cool everywhere else. Extreme mode is much the same. The wrist rest is cool and the WASD area feels fine. It's a little cooler with the fan set to maximum, but it's way too loud now. Let's have a listen. The fans were still audible when sitting completely idle. It gets louder in the higher performance modes, as expected. Extreme performance mode was noticeably louder compared to most other laptops in their highest mode. And the fan noise was just insane with the fans maxed out. It's actually quieter and cooler with the cooling pad, so that's the way to go if you want max performance, better temps, and less noise. Again, link for the one I test with is below. Here's how a game performs with the different performance modes. This test is run at the native resolution of the screen, so although frame rates don't look amazing without upscaling, it shows silent mode is only about 30% slower than extreme mode, while also running much quieter as we just heard. The Titan still has a mini LED screen, just like last year, but it's 16 by 10 now, so more pixels vertically. Apparently, it has double the amount of backlight zones compared to last gen, at over 2000. But I still noticed an obvious halo effect when moving the mouse cursor around on a dark window, similar to last year, which I found distracting at times. Showing all black means all zones are off, so I've used a dark shade of grey instead to demonstrate that there's no backlight bleed at all. The mini LED panel is optional. There's also a QHD Plus IPS level screen option, which I assume will cost less money. Color gamut from the mini LED panel is better than last year. It's great for either gaming or content creation. Contrast is still perfect, as the zones are able to turn off completely for black. It gets bright too, at over 1100 nits with HDR enabled, or around 670 nits in SDR mode. It's slightly brighter compared to last year's Titan, whether HDR is on or off. And it's also the brightest screen we've ever measured. Awesome stuff. Screen response time is interesting. Transitioning from dark to light was much slower compared to going from light to dark, as the individual backlight zones take longer to ramp up. This is just a downside of some mini LED panels. Here are the results from last year's Titan for comparison. So nowhere near as slow, but definitely still some poor results when going from dark to light. Once we take the average of all measured results, the Titan 18 is one of the slower laptops we've tested in the last few few years. But again, it varies based on the content you're viewing. Many of the dark to light transitions were actually quite quick at the start, so in gameplay, it doesn't actually look like a blurry mess. It's just that we've got to wait for the zones to fully brighten, which takes longer. The total system latency is the amount of time between a mouse click and when a gunshot fire appears on the screen in Counter-Strike 2. This is actually a dark to light transition. But this test doesn't care about how long it takes for the brightness change to complete, so it's actually a great result, aligning with what I just said before about it not really being a problem for gaming. The Titan 18 has a muck switch, but for some reason, MSI still aren't using advanced Optimus in their laptops, so you have to manually reboot to change between Optimus on or off. There's no G-Sync with Optimus off, but Adaptive Sync is available with Optimus on. Honestly, this isn't that big of a deal since the queso update anyway, but considering this is a super expensive and premium laptop, it's kind of embarrassing not to have it. There's a 1080p camera above the screen as well as a physical privacy shutter, and it has IR for Windows Hello Face Unlock. Here's how the camera and microphones look and sound, and this is what it sounds like while typing on the mechanical keyboard. Now let's find out how well MSI's Titan 18 performs in games. We've tested it with these settings for best results. Cyberpunk 2077 was tested with our own custom test run, and I've got the Titan 18 shown by the red highlight. Like last year's Titan, it's nowhere near close to being one of the best results at 1080p, but you're probably not buying such high-end specs for 1080p gaming. It moves up a couple of positions in the same selection of laptops at 1440p, and is within the margin of error range compared to last year's Titan GT77. Granted, that had more dips in performance, as per its worst 1% low. This might be an advantage of the newer model's higher CPU power limit when the GPU is active. At 4K, there's no real practical difference between most of the 4090 laptops now. We're talking about a 1 FPS gap between the Titan 18 and the best result we've ever recorded in this test. You're just not going to notice that. Red Dead Redemption 2 was tested with the game's benchmark. This time at 1080p, it was 10% faster compared to last year's Titan with the same GPU. The 14900HX CPU only has a slightly higher single-core boost speed, but it may be helping here. The Titan 18 was one of the best results at the higher 1440p resolution out of all laptops tested, while at 4K, it's basically tied for best result with XMG's Neo 16. That is a smaller 16-inch gaming laptop, but it also has water cooling connected. Though, that said, the air-cooled result wasn't far behind. Control is a GPU-heavy game, even at 1080p, and the Titan 18 was one of the better results here too, and not much different compared to last year's Titan GT77. It's a similar deal at 1440p. The Titan 18 was one of the best results ever measured in this test. A great result. And then again at 4K, it's up near the top, with not too much of a real difference between a number of the 4090 laptops tested, at least in average FPS. Here are the 3D Mark results for those that find them useful. Now for some content creator tests. The Titan 18 was one of the better results, as expected due to the maxed out specs. However, last gen laptops were still able to come out ahead, further demonstrating just how little the change to Intel 14th gen makes. MSI's Advanced BIOS provides you with almost unlimited customization once you enter the usual cheat code to access it. You can change things from power limits, temperature limits, memory speeds, and far more. This is really what makes the Titan unique. And with the right tuning, I'm sure you could get it outperforming most other laptops. Linux support was tested with an Ubuntu 23.10 live CD. By default, the keyboard, touchpad, camera, speakers, and Ethernet worked, but Wi-Fi was not recognized, likely because it's the latest Wi-Fi 7. Keyboard shortcuts for volume adjust, screen brightness, and max fan work, but the keyboard brightness shortcut does nothing, and the keys were not lit up at all. The touchpad and lid logo were stuck on red lighting. Pricing and availability will change over time, so check the link below the video for updates and current sales. And if the Titan 18 does have a good sale, we'll be sure to add it to our gaminglaptop.deals website. We update that every day to include all of the latest sales. So make sure that you check it out regularly to save money on your next gaming laptop. At the time of recording, the RTX 4090 version I've tested here starts from $5,400 US at different stores. That's $100 more compared to when last year's Titan GT77 launched. And that had more SSD space too. Inflation, I guess. guess. I mean, you could get ASUS's SCAR 18 with same CPU, GPU, and also a mini LED screen for way less. Yeah, it comes with a quarter of the memory installed, but it's also $1,500 less. The Titan is the most expensive gaming laptop I've ever reviewed, and for such a high price tag, you'd expect it to be perfect. But it's not. Nothing in life is. Everything has compromises, even when you're spending this much money. The main problems I've got with the Titan 18 are the touchpad, lack of advanced Optimus, battery life, and just the overall size and weight. To get all of that power, this laptop is bigger and heavier compared to most others. And I suppose if you're primarily gaming, then you won't need to use the touchpad anyway, because you'll be using a mouse. Which is good, because this is the worst touchpad I've used in a long time. And lacking advanced Optimus doesn't really matter too much in reality. Since Microsoft's Queso update, using Optimus doesn't give you as big of a performance boost as it used to. But that said, I still think it's pretty silly for such an expensive laptop like this not to have that premium feature, when even budget-friendly mid-range laptops have it. Battery life sucks too, but that's kind of standard for these bigger, more powerful desktop replacement style machines. Honestly, for such a high price, I don't think that the Titan 18 is worth it for most people. Unless you're one of the few who needs more memory capacity at the expense of slower memory speeds. You want high CPU and GPU combined power limits, because it is one of the best at that. Or you're an enthusiast who can't wait to get into the advanced BIOS and tune the crap out of it. If you're after a powerful 18-inch gaming laptop for $1,500 less, then I suggest checking out the ASUS SCAR 18 over here next. It's ASUS's most powerful gaming laptop, and they gave it a mini LED screen this year too. And it won't break the bank as much as the Titan. I'll see you in that one next.